Hey, what's up guys, it's Jason here. I got another video, and this one I'm going to be talking about weapon attachments, using the real weapons, and like using them to their strengths. So the gameplay is going to be on the new China Rising DLC for premium members for PC, 64-man Conquest, Gulen Peak, I believe it's pronounced. Correct me if it is not. Pretty beast gameplay, 42 kills, 8 deaths. I get pick up the 50 cal a couple of times. Only the first run I go with it is pretty good. So yeah, so the weapon I'm using is the SAR-21, which is a very good long-range rifle for the assault class. My attachments are ACOG, folding grip, green laser sight, and heavy barrel. My sidearm is the 5.7 with silencer and the laser sight. So let's talk about playstyles. So there's, I'd say, a very vast majority of players that play Battlefield use the coyote sight, the ergo or angle grip, and then like the laser light or the tack light. Um, and that's pretty much, and the muzzle brake. That's pretty much like what you're going to be seeing, and it's people just stick that on together. Like I know some people stick like the muzzle brake and the potato grip together. I know some people stick the angled grip and the heavy barrel always together, and that doesn't work like that. Each weapon will play out differently depending on the attachments. Like for example, the SAR-21 is a great long-range rifle with the low rate of fire. You shouldn't be rushing up too often. Pretty decent accuracy, okay hip fire, and very good recoil. So because of the good recoil, it's so low that I can afford to put in that heavy barrel because I can compensate very easily, especially because I came from a game that was very recoil intensive, like combat arms and stuff like that. Also, games like Quake, which gives you twitch aim. Yeah. What else? So the potato grip or folding grip I put on the SAR-21 just because I like to be in long range engagements, because when you're in long ranges and you have an ACOG scope, which gives you a better line of sight than a coyote sight for longer ranges, you control the engagement just because you can see their character model better than they can see your character model. And the laser sight is to help alleviate some of the close quarter issues you may have, because the SAR-21 has one of the lowest, if not the lowest rate of fire for assault rifles, clocking in at like 600 rounds per minute. Average damage of 25, so it's nothing like the SAR-H, but you know, it's passable. So that's why I use the attachment for the SAR-21, because it just works with it for my playstyle. Now, if you prefer going up and about, I would recommend something like the ACE-23 or the M416 with like a red dot sight or holograph sight, or like hollow sight, or the coyote sight. And it doesn't matter. I mean, like pretty much in theory, the best sight should be the coyote sight, just because it gives you the like best line of sight. But I prefer like the square hollow just because it looks good on the M4 series, and then I prefer like the Cobra sight on the Russian weapons if I'm using it. Just because the aesthetics really do matter to me. As shallow as that may sound, how a weapon looks plays a big role in like how it performs. Like, I think I saw a video where Frankie in 1080p was talking about how like a sniper has to look like it's in the center of the screen. But anyway, that's a tangent. But yeah, I agree with him on that one. So yeah, like so many players that just slap on like a muzzle brake on a weapon like a SAR-21, and like it doesn't work like that, because first of all, the SAR-21 already has very low recoil, so you shouldn't be slapping a muzzle brake on it. And likewise, like a weapon like the SAR-H, you shouldn't slap a heavy barrel on it because it's already extremely accurate. I don't even put a barrel on the SAR-H, and I have a pretty good amount of kills in the SAR-H, and I'm a pretty decent player, so like I know what attachments I should be using. I use the angled grip, the laser sight, ACOG, and no barrel, just because all the barrels for it suck. Heavy barrel makes the recoil way too wonky, and that's coming from a guy who like plays only with ACOG scopes, and I always use heavy barrels. Angle grip to alleviate the heavy recoil because it kicks like a mule, and yeah, standard, and then laser sight to help because you can 3-hit somebody in the chest at close ranges, so you need that hip fire. Like the AK-12, I use, because of its higher rate of fire, I opt to use the angle grip over the folding grip, because the folding grip, although it helps accuracy for sustained fire a little bit and tap firing, what I found is higher rate of fire weapons, when you tap, the faster you tap them, the closer it'll shoot to its automatic speed. So it'll shoot at 700 or 680 rounds per minute, as opposed to the SAR, which like it shoots so slowly that it's extremely responsive to my. It's directly responsive to my tap firing, whereas the AK-12, the Ace-23, the M416, they are too responsive to my clicking. So like the clicking of like the actual action of me pressing down on the mouse, it causes more bullets to come out than I would like want. That's why like I would prefer angled grip over the folding grip, because the folding grip doesn't help that issue at all. In fact, it actually probably a detriment to carry a folding grip on like a higher rate of fire weapon. Like if you're using the ACOG, I mean, if you're using a red dot sight, that everything's okay. And I don't understand when people say like, oh, the red dot sight is better than the ACOG, or because or the 3.4s, because like the recoil's magnified. It isn't, because um, you get that perception because you see them closer. Like um, let's see here. Like if you use red dot sight and you're trying to cone somebody down, because they're so far away and you're not zoomed in, you're actually not. Your recoil looks like it's really tiny. But because you use an ACOG, it looks like it's a lot more. The only way I can describe it is like on a map, like if you look at the legend, like an inch would be a mile, for example, which isn't very accurate. But okay, say for example that it is. But if you actually go to that place and walk a mile, it's magnified. So it seems like there's a lot more space, but you're actually covering the same amount of space on the map as you would. So it's all relative. So I personally think people should run ACOG on assault rifles, red dot sights on SMGs. I like, you know, the long range like scopes on the snipers, though not the 20. You know, the 20 is okay, but not the 40 times for sure. Like you guys need, like, everything is good, like depending on how you play. Like I'm not saying like Coyote sight is bad for assault rifles, because I think I use the Coyote sight for like the I don't use the Coyote sight in particular, but I use like the red dot sights for the AUG 3, because that weapon has like some ridiculous hip fire. Like I tried to slap a heavy barrel and angle grip on it, try to give it some you know, good accuracy, but I decided, you know, laser sight, no barrel or silencer, and then just go to town, because the hip fire is just amazing. So yeah, working towards your weapon strengths and how you play is super critical towards how well you're gonna play. One setup for one person is not going to be a good setup for another person. Like I know like I've never seen anybody who runs, like, uses the setup for my assault rifles like me, like consistently. Everybody's always running around with that Coyote sight, muzzle brake, potato grip, and then what was that, laser sight? What did I say? God damn, yeah, and then the laser sight thing. And I'm just like people would use that because they say it's the best, but is it really the best? No, it depends on somebody. Because like I use M416 a lot, and for whatever reason, if I'm not using a suppressor and a hollow sight, I'm using an ACOG and an angle grip. Like those are the attachments I use. I can't use this, like, because it's such a good medium range weapon, because it has a good rate of fire, good accuracy, good damage, that like I don't even understand how people can just waste it on like long ranges using the you know, the Coyote sight. Just because you're not going to be able to see your opponents from far away, and if you're always going to go into close quarter engagements, like, one, you don't even need your sight at that point, and two, you should be using like a carbine or like a PDW. So basically, essentially what I'm trying to rant on about is use your weapons towards your strengths, use your playstyle, adapt to it. Likewise, sensitivity plays a big role in these playstyles. If you are always in close quarters, it's probably better to have a higher sensitivity, just so you can twitch around, you can, you know, 180, shoot somebody in the back. If you're a long range player like myself, I prefer low sensitivity. I play at like 13 or 12% depending on the map. Like my frame rates right now are really low just because I have a GTX 780 and it's on ultra at 1080p, but I'm only getting 65% usage, and I'm not exactly sure why, because like I have a second GTX 780 from EVGA, and it's, when I put them in SLI, I only get 100 frames per second, which kind of sucks. And it only also gets 65%. It actually gets 30% usage, and my GPU 1 gets like 90% usage. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. But anyway, that's a little rant tangent. So yeah, use your weapons accordingly. Don't you know, don't just follow the crowd. Wow, I sound like a hipster. You have to try the attachments for yourself. There's really nothing I can do. Like, if you're really good at like seeing people from far away and you don't need an ACOG, then by all means use the 2x scopes, or, you know, that 1-time magnifier, iron sights, that kind of stuff. But if if you're someone who needs to see things clearly, you know, pick up that 3.4 Prisma scope, pick up that ACOG. Or actually, I don't like the ACOG as much as I like the Chinese scope. I'm not sure why I'm using the ACOG on this one, because in every other assault rifles I use the you know, see that guy right there? He's using the angled grip and the muzzle brake with an ACOG. Like that's just so horrible. It's the DMR is already bad. Like you need that accuracy and extra damage, and if they're supposed to be picking engaged for like medium range, that like that little recoil, like you're not spraying it. You should be tap firing it anyway. So yeah, yeah. Here you can see me pick up that guy really easily. Nice headshot. Oh, I have exactly 1,000 kills with the SAR-21 as of this video, so I'm not gonna be using it for a while. But yeah, play towards your strengths. I know I'm probably gonna get flamed for this, but yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Engineers, you know, personally, I whip out the PDWs. Just because the PDWs and the engineers are awesome, because I want to be up close and personal. Because what I find is engineers as a silence class is really good, because you'll basically hop in a vehicle when your vehicle's done with, like when you know it's about to die and you can't repair it for whatever reason. Just whip out that silence PDW, just go to town, take out people in close quarters, and also because I like to sneak up on tanks and stuff and repair tool them to death. Then recon class, I think carbines are really good, as well as snipers. I think the DMRs are actually garbage, by the way. I think they should be 2-shot kills to the chest. I think actually how they should do it, I'm going off track, but I'm letting myself. Well, how they should do it is basically like the DMRs should do 49 damage, and then the snipers should get a 1.25 multiplier to the chest within like at all ranges. So essentially, it's a 2-hit KO. But the thing is, once you get outside of like once you shoot them in the arm, it's gonna be a 3-hit KO. But if you shoot them in the chest in close quarters, you 2-hit KO them, and then it's a 1-shot to the face. It's basically it's a 2-shot to the face. That way, it's not better than the assault rifles. It's not better than the assault rifles, and it's not better than the bolt actions for 1-hit KOs. But that's just my opinion. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Really edited. I'll try to upload more videos on Battlefield and some Pokemon videos competitively. So yeah, just work towards your strengths, and that's all. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good weekend or week, whatever.